Here we are at Virginia International Raceway, doing some tire testing for Continental Moto USA. Doing some testing on the new Conti Sport Attack4s. So we're doing a little bit of track testing today, experimenting with some tire temps, tire pressures, trying to find the limits of adhesion. So we'll close with that because we got a riders meeting coming up, and after that, the rest of us here got us a special guest today. Moto America racer Brandon Posh, longtime friend of mine, known the kid since he was 5 years old. He's here on his R1, burning up some laps. Got my buddy Chris, Freddie, Doug, and there's Brandon, and we are about to get busy with it. back in Maryland after our track day down at VIR North, doing some testing on these Continental tires. They look good. Wear was awesome. Don't have any complaints whatsoever. Got the Aprilia tucked back in the bed, safe and sound. This is the rear after 5 sessions, and it started out 79 degrees with about 65% humidity roughly, and after that it went up to about 85, 86 degrees. And I adjusted pressures. I started at 27 in the rear and 31 in the front, and from there I went down. So I tried to use the lap timer on the Aprilia. It just didn't seem to work with the flash to pass, or maybe I wasn't holding it down long enough whenever I was going through the kink, but it's a little hard to move your hands around at 170 plus trying to flip a little button to see if you can get a lap time down. But we did a little playing with Brandon Posh. He was down there riding. He came out with us. I've known him since he was 5 years old, so he came out and did a little playing around and followed me. I don't know if he got video or not, but he said we were probably doing minute 37s, minute 36s maybe around North Course, which is moving along at a pretty good clip, considering we're both on bikes with stock suspension. No upgrades whatsoever, just factory sacks on my Aprilia. So I'll share some data whenever I get in. I'll share a little bit of data when I get back into my office and get my camera set up a little bit better, but I'm not your typical vlogger or anything like that. I'm just trying to help out with trying to get a database built up, doing some of this Continental tire testing, in conjunction with Eric at Monkey Works Cycle down in Daytona Beach, and the Continental USA tire rep, who I've been in contact with for a while. So the Race Attack 2s weren't available yet, and I had some track days coming up, so I opted for the Sport Attack 4s. And once I go through all the pressures and you see some of the video and stuff that I got from VIR, I think you'll be pretty impressed that it's a very competent tire as far as a track day guy, considering we were running, in the intermediate group, upper end of the intermediate group, like probably top level intermediate group, and was able to reach 37s with some open track, running with guys on slicks and DOT race tires. That says a lot for just a hyper sport tire that's not specifically designed as track oriented, except for maybe like the track day hobbyist. Alright, so here I am back in the office. So what we did at VIR, we started off at 27 PSI and 31.5 in the front. I know Eric at Monkey Works had already tested them at 32 in the front, 26 in the rear, 27 in the rear, something like that. So I just kind of picked up where he left off, and I went down half-pound increment every session. I didn't cook them on the warmers for a lot of time. I just put them on at about 120 degrees just to get a little bit of heat in them. Since they are a street tire, I didn't want to go out on completely cold tires, just so it wouldn't take me as long to get up to speed and whatnot. But I found the limit of grip, at least at VIR, in the humid conditions and whatnot, that at 25 PSI it kind of started moving around a little bit whenever I was getting hard on the throttle coming out of the corners, and you could tell that I was reaching that limit of grip as far as traction for the street tire and the compound and whatnot. but as long as I was above 25 psi, like 25 and a half up, I had no issues. I had really good wear, really good grip at 25 and a half psi in the rear and 30 and a half in the front. Once I found that where I was getting the best feedback, I kind of left it there for the remainder of the day. But finding the grip limit was good. You may be able to run it at that 25 psi if you have a track that has more grip, like NC Bike in North Carolina, or Jennings, or something like that, that has that roughish, you know, seashell compound asphalt that has tons of grip and just eats up tires like there's no tomorrow. But VIR doesn't really have that. So, but it worked. Super impressed with being able to run upper end of the intermediate group and really click off some fast laps with no traffic. It didn't have any issues getting around traffic on the outside or pushing the limits or anything. It stuck everywhere I put it. Everything I was able to dish out and the appraisal was able to give it, it took. So if you're looking for a tire that's street compatible for canyons, and also that will really let you push on a track day, this new Continental Sport Attack4 is pretty darn impressive overall. So I don't think I'm gonna be buying any more Race Attack tires anytime soon. For the amount of time that I spend on the track, you know, 3-4 track days a year, it's just not worth spending the extra money. But if I get a chance to test some Race Attack 2s in the Race Attack 2 streets, I'll probably do that, just so I can provide some feedback and help Eric at Monkey Works build his database on the new Continentals, since they're brand new for 2020 and there isn't a lot of data out there on them. So Continental doesn't have a lot of data on them. We didn't even have a recommended tire pressure to start with, so we just kind of started, and I hooked up with Eric, and who I bought tires from for the past few years. So he gave me a starting point from when he tested them at Jennings on his ZX10, and he said he was shockingly amazed that he was able to run, you know, advanced group, you know, expert pace within a couple seconds of the guys that were, you know, really clicking off some fast laps. But he was duly impressed, and, you know, had to question himself, why am I spending money on slicks when I can ride a tire this good for this amount of money that costs less than slicks or race DOT? So there's a little info for you. Hope you found it informational, and will help you make a choice in your tires. Or if you want to try something with the videos that I put up, you'll be able to see that, you know, it sticks. So there's no question that the new Continentals have some good technology in them.